Today I asked 200 people for their dumbest Ninjago set ideas, and I have to build them. Will these sets be better than I expected, or a complete disaster? Well, some of these ideas were absolutely awful, so please do consider subscribing. Now, I randomly selected a few of these submissions, and first of all, I have to build the depressing dragon battle. Oh god. Right, let's give this a go. Now, with the set, I wanted to make them as close to what LEGO would actually do as possible, so naturally, these horrific things right here make me wish I was no longer here. So they're perfect. And with a rough outline of what I wanted to do, I dragged out the remains of my old dragons and prepared for the worst. Time to make a Ninjago set that will ruin your life. I wanted to give it a look, play features, and minifigures that were all designed to ruin the days of anyone who would buy this. Just like LEGO. So the dragon's almost done. Very, very depressing. But the depressing dragon needs some depressing minifigures. I gathered a handful of random ninja and my large assortment of heads to give them the saddest ones I could find. I've got the minifigures done, which are looking absolutely great. And here you have it, the depressing dragon battle. Fitted with 4 custom minifigures going through a breakdown, which comes with features such as the legs falling off, the head not being posable, and a really dull looking tail. Needless to say, this custom set had fulfilled the brief, but believe me, things get a hell of a lot worse later on. Now, one of the things that people kept going on about was the 4+J's Electromech. So after randomly selecting the next set, I now have to build a 4+ Samurai X mech. Why have you done this to me? In order to try and build a 4+ mech, I firstly needed some inspiration. And I've got to make it worse than this, and something a bit more like this. I am not sorry. 4+ mechs generally have large pieces, look really weird, and make you feel like this. So I grabbed a ton of parts and some of my biggest pieces and began building. So what we've got is an absolute abomination of a mech. You can just about fit a minifigure in there, and it has absolutely no posability. It's perfect. In order to make this set as bad as humanly possible, I added a few, shall we say, distinct features. The 4+ Samurai X mech fitted with a sword, a Samurai X symbol, and of course a place to sit your minifigures. Oh god. Look at this thing. I didn't think I could actually succeed my expectations, but somehow I've done it. Once I'd built all of the sets, I wanted to ask the people what they thought and see just how low the standards of Ninjago fans truly are. So what I found is a suggestion for a Legacy Kai battle pack. And based upon the amount of these that I've seen people actually buy, I think people are gonna like this one. I began to study what truly makes the LEGO battle packs just so great. It's got 1 build, 4 minifigures, is overpriced, and has stud shooters. I grabbed all of my Legacy Kai minifigures and began construction on a classic motorcycle. However, honestly, I'm not terribly happy with how this turned out, so I'm gonna need to do some remodeling. I remodeled an old marble mech to make it smaller and quite frankly worse. I've got the mech sort of done, and after adding the last few details and preparing the minifigures, and with that, we've got 4 Legacy Kais, a terrible mech build, stud shooters, and over the price of only £25. Now that I've built a few smaller terrible sets, I wanted to build a slightly larger one to truly test what people were willing to buy, and also my own sanity. So I'm gonna give building the 985th bounty a go. Throughout the years, there have been dozens of bounties released, going from being able to fly and go on water, to only being able to go on land, and finally just going into water. So to follow this trend, the 1000th or so bounty will be unable to move. I pulled out my resources and prepared myself mentally for studying the key aspects of a bounty. Now initially, I wanted to try and build a dojo of some kind, but then I remembered that I have absolutely no skill. So let's start again, shall we? The ninja must have spent absolutely billions on their vehicles over the years, so after their 900th or so bounty, so I've got a bit of a camp built, places for the ninja to train, store their goods, eat, and sleep. Money would be slightly short, so I want to try and show that. In order to show that the ninja were now homeless, I needed to make it clear that they were now living in the wild in the external bounty. I added some greenery with trees and shrubs, as well as a pretty nice pond. Not only have we got a camp, but also some wildlife with a pond, a hill, and some trees. I have an idea. Part of showing the ninjas now being homeless meant showing them as broke. They've had dozens of suits over the years, so after their luck running out, they likely wouldn't be able to afford anything new. We've got some homeless ninjas just walking around the place and chilling. These minifigures would hopefully help to sell this set by adding a sense of realism to the repercussions of being terrible with money. I'm actually very happy with how the minifigures turned out. For a set designed to be bad, I sort of like it. And with some of these sets, they actually feel like Lego could genuinely make them. I built 4 sets based on some of the dumbest suggestions I could find, and now is the chance to test just how desperate Ninjago fans truly were. We've got a depressing dragon, a useless mech, an overpriced battle pack, and Ninja being homeless. I prepared all of the sets and myself mentally for showing the world these disasters, but some of the other submissions had been far worse. You could argue that I was lucky, and after taking a few pictures of each set as well as adding the prices, $25, $10, $30, and $50. I'm very worried that nobody's going to be willing to buy these, so I've just got to pray. And with that, I sent the pictures out to the world. All that's left to do is simply to wait and see what people say. The responses started to come in, and I waited for the best part of an hour, but now feels like a good time to see what they truly think about the sets. Here we go. As I began reading the dozens of comments, one thing became very clear. Oh my god, would buy the battle pack? Shut up and take my money. It honestly looks sick. Fellas, people love it. Despite being absolute abominations, would sell incredibly well. How? I love it. These terrible sets that I spent the last week working on just proved how low the standards of Ninjago fans were. And honestly, this wave of sets is arguably better than the newest wave, which honestly has some not so great sets. But let me know in the comments if you would buy these sets and also any other set ideas you have. Subscribe now. I want to look really, really cool, so subscribe.